Hello and welcome to Soul Elevation, guiding your ascension to new heights. I'm your host, Tara Goodwin. I am really excited to be here with you on Friday, January 16th, for those who are joining live, and welcome to those who are joining via the recording. So, today I want to talk about um, we're in a very chaotic time as I'm recording this. Again, it's January 16th. We're in the year 2026. And the last few months really have been really chaotic in terms of things happening throughout the world, um, government control, different different aspects, but on the global scale, things feel insecure. They feel chaotic. They feel like, it would be very easy for everyday people to feel powerless and to feel disenfranchised and to feel um, a little bit hopeless about what's happening. And I know that these are things that when I take stock of everything that's happening right now, it can feel that way. So I, within myself, I deal with that, and I have found something that I've put into practice that I've found really powerful, and I wanted to share it with you. And before I talk about that too much, I just want to say that when I explain this, it might seem a little bit confusing. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as I can. But depending on how much you understand about energy, consciousness, collective consciousness, shared consciousness, telepathy, all of these concepts, if you're really new to that world, then some of what I say may sound confusing. It may sound like I am not even speaking English. I know in parts of my journey, as as my understanding has developed and as my consciousness has expanded, that's been a journey. So there have been times where people have talked about things that were very confusing to me, and it sounded like they were just babbling. And it's funny for me to go back or sometimes, I'd be reading something and it'd be really confusing and it would just sound like gibberish. And then I come across that content later when I have a deeper understanding of things or my understanding has changed. And I'm like, oh, this is actually really coherent. It makes a lot of sense. I do understand what they're saying, but I remember I thought that person was crazy or I couldn't understand what they were saying. And sometimes when we don't understand something, it makes somebody else sound crazy because we don't understand it ourselves. So I just want to put that out there because just be patient with me and with yourself. If I start talking about things and you have no idea what I'm talking about, it may make sense later, or it may be that the message itself doesn't make sense, but there's some seeds that will be planted, or there's just an energetic conveyance that goes beyond the words that will benefit you. And so you can just kind of let go of needing to completely understand everything that I say. Okay. So, what I want to talk about is that let's start with the collective consciousness. So, we have this collective consciousness, meaning a shared consciousness throughout humanity that you can think of as being part of a whole. So, your mind, really, we're talking mostly at the mind level, at the consciousness level, which is more than just the mind, but let's just think about it in terms of thoughts and the mind right now. You and your thoughts make up something bigger that everybody within humanity is connected to. We all share this collective consciousness, and you are a part of it. So you are influenced by the collective consciousness, but you are also contributing to the collective consciousness. So it's just the same as like you have a fingernail. You have 10 fingernails, but let's just focus on one fingernail. And that fingernail is a part of you, and you are a part of that fingernail. But the fingernail is not the whole of it. It's just one part of it, but it's connected to everything. And that's like you and your consciousness. You are part of the consciousness. You are like a fingernail in the consciousness, which is bigger than you, but you are a part of it. And just like if I have a tear in my fingernail or some kind of injury to do with my fingernail and it hurts, the bigger me hurts. It's not just like the bigger me isn't affected by my fingernail. My fingernail affects all of me too. If it's injured or if it's out somehow bothering me, then it affects me. So I know that my fingernail is, it plays into the bigger part of me beyond just my fingernail. Okay. So this ties in to how you can help. Now, let's set that aside about what collective consciousness is. And I want to share a story about just a personal story that plays into this. So, when I had the last Miracle Summit, which was on December 6th, as I was hosting this, it was like a 4-hour event. I think it was about 4 hours. And 2 times in that, while I was hosting it, so most of the time while I was doing that, I was not having to speak, but I was present and watching everything. And 2 times during that one summit, I had a severe something in the right hemisphere of my brain. I can't even tell you what it was, but it felt like lightning went through the right side of my brain, and it hurt so bad, but it was very short. It happened for like a second or maybe 3 seconds, but it was excruciating for those 3 seconds. And I thought, when it was happening, again, it was so short, it was so quick and immediate. But in those 3 seconds, I thought, there is no way I can keep going. It was just in the moment when it came through, it was searing pain. And then it was gone. And I was like, whoa, that was crazy. And then it happened another time during the summit. And it hasn't happened again since. It didn't happen before that. So that had my attention, that it happened exactly during the summit. And I don't know, I'm sure you're waiting for me to fill in the blanks. So what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? I don't know what that means. But I think it was energetic. Was it good or bad? I don't know. Maybe it was some sort of upgrade and there was this like physical component to it. Maybe it was high energy and there was some sort of adaptation and it was too much for a split second or 3 seconds. Maybe it was negative. Maybe there was, quote unquote negative. Maybe, there was such high vibe and something was trying to sabotage it. And my guides came in and cut it off before it could do more. I don't know. Those are all just theories. I'm just telling you the black and white of what I experienced. Then a few nights ago, as I was falling asleep, I've had other things with the right side of my head. Let me say that with the right side of my head and my right ear, whether it is really, really loud tinnitus to where I'm sure my husband thinks I'm going deaf because there have been a couple, 3 weeks maybe where he's noticing that I can't hear, I couldn't hear as well. It's kind of coming back now, but I was like, can you turn, we'd watch something on TV and I'd be like, can you turn it up? I can't hear it. And he would say things and I would, especially if I was eating or something, all of that inner noise, I could not, it was like he was, to me, it sounded like he was mumbling, but I could tell that he was like, okay, what's going on? She can't hear anymore. Again, that is better. But the other night I was falling asleep and I didn't have the searing pain, but on my right side, it felt like scramble. I don't know how to explain this more than there was energy. It felt like energy was scrambling right here. And I'll say the same thing that I just said about the what happened during the summit. I don't know if this was quote unquote good or bad. I don't know if it was an upgrade, if it was positive, or if it was some sort of interference that was malevolent. All I know is what I experienced was scrambling. And it was just on this right side. And I could feel it kind of having the potential to take over. I could feel it potentially coming in and spreading. And all that I could do was remember who I was. And this is very important. I know who I am. I know who I am. And I chose in that moment to remember. And I didn't have time. This came out of the blue. I wasn't prepared for it. I could feel the scrambling coming in. And all I could do was bring my awareness where it wasn't being scrambled and remember who I am. And there's no identity with this. So I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm Andromedan. And so I remembered that I'm an Andromedan and I repeated to myself, I'm an Andromedan, or I'm, even me, Kara Goodwin, as a human. It was not that. It was, I am a divine being of God. I am a divine being of God. And it was just tuning into my consciousness as an aspect of God. And that I could, there was a choice with it. This is really hard to explain. So again, just like bear with me here. And I hope that I'm conveying enough of this experience. But that knowing that I'm an aspect of God was able to come in and stabilize and take over. And so the scrambling subsided and I just trusted, like as this divine being, I will be protected if protection is what I need, or I will be upgraded if there is some sort of upgrading happening. I will have the most beneficial result in this moment. And I trusted that. So there was no panic. I wasn't afraid. I remembered who I was, okay? The reason I'm bringing that up in conjunction with the collective consciousness is because, as I talked about, you are part of collective consciousness. And so you contribute to the collective consciousness. You are not the totality of collective consciousness. We are all making up the collective consciousness. We're all contributing to it, and it is also influencing us. And the weaker that we are, the less we are embodying the totality of who we are as divine beings, the weaker we are to that collective consciousness. The more that we are embodying the divinity of who we are, the more we influence the collective consciousness. So, as you continue to embody the divinity that you are contributing more to the collective consciousness. And the collective consciousness is very chaotic right now. There is a lot going on. And yes, there is a lot of negative influence in the collective consciousness because everybody accesses it. And there is a lot of negativity right now. And there are other things going on that are not in favor of the highest aspect of who we are that play into that. But you, as a divine being and as an embodiment of God and of divinity that you are, you can connect to that divinity and you can deliberately interact with the collective consciousness. And so I've been doing this in my own meditation where in my meditation, and how do you do this? You do it through intent, using your imagination, and believing that you can, and being in that belief as much as you can. And so meditating, coming into a stillness, a focus, a relaxed focus, and then connecting, just expanding your awareness beyond yourself and visualizing, if you want to, visualizing like a thought field, like a vapory thought field around you, and then feeling how you are a part of it and it is a part of you, and you are a part of it and it is a part of you. And then intending that you are embodying your divinity, you are bringing more divinity into your own consciousness, and it is lighting up the collective consciousness and intending that it spreads. And this is why I wanted to bring up the whole scrambling experience that I had, because when I embodied in my own individual experience, when I embodied the divinity of who I am, then I was able to let that become the whole of who I am, and to neutralize the experience that I was having in the right side of my brain. And it's very similar to what I'm doing in meditation, where I'm connecting and then I'm just allowing that to kind of infiltrate the collective consciousness, letting that spread, and being intentional that that divinity, that high vibration, is going into the collective consciousness and it is influencing the collective consciousness. So I have a couple of free guided meditations that you may already have. I'll try to remember to link those in the show notes, but one is a unity consciousness and one is a new earth consciousness. Both of those, if you want to play around with what I've discussed here today, those guided meditations may help you. They're not exactly what I've talked about, but they are similar, and especially the unity consciousness one. But also, just understand the power that you have through your intention, through embodying yourself, embodying your own higher self, embodying your divinity. This is true. It is truly who you are. And don't get hung up on any sort of method or technique that will, get you the right way there. This is just trust yourself, trust your intention, and trust where you are led. Let it be fluid. Don't make it this fixed thing that's a right or wrong thing. And you can do it. You can use your power for the highest good. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm so grateful to be here with you. I have some exciting events that are coming up in the next few months, and some of them are already ready for registration. So please go on karagoodwin.com, look at my events. I've got, for example, the New Living Expo that I'm going to be at in April. I'm going to have a talk on there on Friday. I'm going to have a booth. So I would love to see you there. There are going to be so many amazing speakers there. Please consider coming out to California in April. Come to the New Living Expo and come to my talk on the Friday. But there are a lot of things I'll keep adding, because there are some things I'm working on that I'm not ready to announce yet. But there's an events page right there on my homepage where you can see what's coming. Collaboration with Rachel Chamness, with Kimberly Meredith, New Living Expo, and other things that are going to be on there soon, I hope. So anyway, thank you so much for engaging with this. Please do like, subscribe, share. That really means so much. It really helps content like this to be more discoverable. We need all hands on deck here. So please do what you can to, if you already know people who are interested in topics like this, please share it. It really does help a lot. So thank you so much. Bless you. And I will see you next time.